The genocide against the Tutsi in 1994 happened when I was turning 13. And by the time we came back in Rwanda, I was 16, 17, because it was early January 1997 that we came back to Rwanda. So being 13 during the genocide, so I knew what was happening. Mm-hmm. I knew that people are being killed. I knew who was being killed. I could hear it on the radio. I have learned a few things at school. So I wasn't like ignorant of what was happening. And because of that understanding I had then, that's actually what led me to even flee, go into exile, because I couldn't imagine that the RPF would come back, stop the genocide, and find many of their relatives have been killed, and then not take revenge. So because of what I have heard, I come from Cyangugu towards the end of the genocide in, I think, May, June, because of the French army that was controlling parts of Cyangugu and Kibuye and parts of Gikongoro. We went back to school, and I got to witness many people I knew near my high school in Kibogora that had been killed. So I couldn't imagine that people would come and find that many people slaughtered by their neighbors and not to take revenge. That's how we went into exile. Actually, we left as kids, we left our parents behind just because of that fear of retaliation. So when we came back, we didn't come back because we have understood everything is okay. There was a war in Congo. We went into the forests, and after 3 months in the forest, we realized we couldn't run anywhere else except staying in the forest, hiding in there, or we could come back to Rwanda. So we came back to Rwanda because we thought if we stay in exile, we die. If we come to Rwanda, we die. Let's just go to Rwanda and die in Rwanda anyway, because we still had that mentality. If you come back, you will be killed just because of taking revenge, because of retaliation. So when I came back, it was in 1997 in January. Actually, I think by March, I was back in school. And when I went back to school, I still had that fear. Maybe something is going to happen. Maybe something is going to happen to me. Then I continued to live that life. And actually, I got saved during that period. But still, that fear, that suspicion mixed with, I would say, with shame of feeling like, oh, my people have really done something wrong. They have committed a genocide. They have killed people. I carried all of that. So it's something that really I worked with throughout my 5th year in high school, in the last year of high school. I even joined the university with the same mentality. So part of meeting with Antoine was, here is a man who is outspoken, who speaks about him being a genocide survivor, having lost his dad at 5 years old, and yet he notices me. And because one of the challenges I had, I thought that anybody who looks at me thinks I'm a Hutu or I belong to a Hutu family. So I thought, how can he even notice somebody like me? I'm nobody. I'm even from the wrong side, if you would call it, and he knows. Then later when I opened up to him and told him my story, I thought he's going to turn away and stop relating with me. actually it drew him even closer to me. And the message he has been giving, he was giving then, and has been giving ever since I have known him, has really helped me to go on that journey of healing, because it went beyond just what he says, but how he lives. So now, you asked about purpose. When somebody is wounded, you are limping. At least you are limping, if you can even stand. So you can't really walk into your destiny. You can't really be who God has made you to be, because it's as if the woundedness or your wounding distorts who you are, and it distorts your reality, and it distorts your view of life. And because of that, then you can't really discover your purpose, and you can't even walk in it because of that distortion that comes from woundedness. So that's why when I started on that journey of healing, I could be free to be myself. I could interact with anybody. I could just do and be who I am supposed to be. And that helped me in my calling, or even in what God has created me for. Yes, I work in healing, but I'm also a believer. I am a preacher. I share the word of God. I teach. And how would you teach in a nation like Rwanda with the same heart I had before I got on that journey of healing? So it would have been impossible. So woundedness distorts who you are. It affects your view of reality. It affects what you can pursue and what you can't pursue. It affects even how you can pursue it. Just one example. One of the things that God has been working on me was to receive even help from people I would consider shouldn't help me. One of them being Reverend Antoine, and also many other friends I have who have helped me. And one of them is a very close friend. We knew each other before I became a Christian. I became born again. And one day he came and said, I want to spend the night praying with you. And I said, no way, you are crazy. You are a genocide survivor. You know my story. How can you want to spend the night praying with you, praying with me? Not for your own prayer request, but for mine. And that almost made me to push him away. Thank God that I failed to push him away, because really God spoke to me and really set me on a good path, even during that time. So to come back to your question about purpose, when you are wounded, it's very difficult to walk in who God has made you to be. It's very difficult to even embrace what God has destined you to do. And even when you discover it, it is very difficult for you to achieve it, because you need anybody. You need the help of many people on that journey of your purpose. So that's why healing is very important when it comes to fulfilling your purpose, because actually your purpose depends on it.
Wow. So your purpose, fulfilling your purpose depends on you healing from your emotional wounds and being able to get your view of life back to the real view of life, not the distorted one that has been distorted by the emotional wounds.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely. It's like a normal wound. If you have you have an injury on your leg, and you are destined to be a footballer, we hear it every day that so and so, even though he's very good in his own team, he can't play because he's injured. So he has to take time to heal before going back into playing. So it's the same with life. So we can't just say, I will play with my injury, because you will make it worse. So it's the same with our purpose and even with whatever we want to achieve in life. If we are limping, we can't really run. We may limp and try to walk wobbly, but we will not be able to run the race that is set before us. That's why I say, really, fulfilling your purpose, your healing depends on it.